Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. If you want East Tennessee's most experienced pest control company protecting your home, then you need to call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Knoxville, Jamestown, Lenore City, Powell, where I live, and they take care of my house, and all points in between. If you're in East Tennessee, these are the folks to call. Family-owned, locally owned, like so many of the folks on this show. They can get you a free inspection this week if you give them a holler. Visit southeasttermite.com to learn more. All right, take a look here at running back production. You got to read it up and down. My apologies. It's the only way to make it legible. It shows the rush attempts, rush yards, yards per rush, receptions, receiving yards, and total touchdowns for Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, and Dylan Sampson. All of those guys have good numbers. I mean, you see Jalen Wright for the year is averaging 7 yards a carry, over 100 carries. That's pretty darn impressive. Then you look, between, now Small hasn't gotten as many throws his way, but all told, you're looking 36 catches from your backs, solid, touchdowns all around. We'll leave those numbers up there for a second. I'll tell my director, Chris, to hang on there. But Bob, no question, Tennessee getting great contributions from their running backs. These guys they're all kind of interchangeable. I mean, they might have a little niche here or there, but they all are pretty much interchangeable. But I keep coming back to the same question when I see Sampson there, and then they cut to Jalen Wright on the sideline, or Jalen Wright's in there, and they get a shot of Jabari Small on the sideline. My question is, they're getting a lot of production, but are they being as creative with these guys as they could be?
You know, did General Neyland have a maxim? Don't play two running backs at the same time, because Butch Jones did it with Hurd and Kamara. I think these three backs may be your best players. We keep saying Dylan Sampson's the best player on the field in several games. Don't change your offense. Nobody's saying throw out what you do and we'll go to the split back veer.
Right.
No. Find creative ways to get your better athletes on the field, not for an entire game maybe, but plays here and there. I just can't believe it would be that difficult. So, no, you're not using them as well as you could be.
Maybe some specific plays, say, the red area?
The red zone. I mean, looking at it, Fant was basically that, right? He was a tight end, but he would play fullback, lead back. They would motion him out. They had a lot of ways. To me, it's using that 20 personnel, using two backs on the field, line them up. Both those guys can basically do some route running like wide receivers. You start them in the backfield, one motions out. You see what the defense adjusts to, and you know, is that my number one read now? Or you have those two backs and you mix it up with some different kinds of plays. But you look at it and say, how do I get two of my better players on the field in the backfield where the defensive coordinator's going, I've got an issue. I've got to call some basic stuff. It's going to make them react and take them out of doing certain things by just having those two guys on the field at the same time going, they could do several things out of this package right now. That it's a struggle for a defensive coordinator to see two really good running backs that can also be wide receivers. It hurts you.
Jimmy, Josh, are we banging this drum too much over the years, or is UT missing an opportunity here to get two backs on the field at one time for the occasional play?
I'd like to see him get two backs on the field at the same time. And I think you could use one of them as a wide receiver at times. You can have him in the backfield. I would tell you how I would use him if you paid me $9 million. But I don't want to give away all my secrets.
It's worth that much.
But, I think that you could utilize both of them. And I would like throwing flanker screens to these guys. You get Sampson out in space on a flanker screen, he's tough enough to tackle as he is now. So I would utilize them a little bit more, and I'd get both on the field at the same time.
Even if it's just a decoy situation where the other team's having to look at it and go, oh, wait, there's Dylan Sampson. Yeah. There's some way. And it would be a different thing, Josh, if they didn't have 36 catches between them, but clearly they can catch a football. You're not scared to throw to them. Why not just, as Will said, line one up over here? Next play, he comes in, this guy lines up in the slot.
Yeah, there are ways to use both guys if they're out there on the field in multiple ways. When we project to the NFL, can they play at the next level? The thing we ask is, okay, well, can you catch the football? Because you have to at that position. These guys can. The one thing I will say for what they've done to help the running game, which we talked about earlier, and it's from a different position, but it's Joe Milton running the ball. And I do think that helps the running backs as well. If Joe is somebody that the opposing defense has to at least respect a little more, that has to help the running backs perform better as well. I think that's helped the running game overall.
Okay. And this would be a different topic if you had your wide receivers from last year, or you have an All-American tight end, and you go, how are you going to take that guy off the field when you put this guy in, right? Like that's a challenge, because then you're saying, hey, I may be hurting my team a little bit. Right now, let's just face it. You're not looking at your wide receiver core and going, which one should I replace? You're going, I could replace any one of those with one of these running backs for a play or two, and I'm more dangerous as an offense to the defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, kudos to Chaz Nimrod, who's had to bump up the slot with McCoy out, caught a touchdown yesterday, burned his guy into the point that they said he fell down. Yeah, he fell down trying to catch up after he was turned into a knot. So kudos to Nimrod. But who's more dangerous out there play after play? Would it be Nimrod or would it be Dylan Sampson? Would it be Nimrod or getting right out there on occasion? Would it be Dante Thornton, who also had some catches yesterday, kudos, when they moved him outside? But I just think there's a way to mix it up. It doesn't mean take them off the field forever. It just means you don't have to have one. If your back's your best players, you can get more than one of them onto the field at any one time.
And for the
Very
record,
quickly.
you can have my secrets for much less than $9.2 million.
Okay, well, hopefully about $75. All right, when we come back, we are going to look at Tennessee's bowl prospects. Where do those line up? And also, have you started scouting UConn yet? Do you know how bad they are? Because they're very, very bad. Come on back on the Sports Source. We'll tell you how bad they are